I like their chicken though. Like it's clear they use really good chicken.
I like the chicken.
Those chickens, eh? Hello, and welcome to Updog Sports Talk. My name is Matt Miller. Joining me today is Chad Bun.
That's me.
And Justin McGovern. What's up, everybody? And today we are going over the AFC East. And
Yes,
as a reminder for those who aren't familiar with our how we do this, we go in reverse order. So, Justin, do you want to tell us what the order of your favorite division is? Yeah, well, except I only like one team in the division, hate the others. So we're going in reverse order of where they finished last year. So we'll be getting this with the New England Patriots, then going to the Jets, then the Dolphins, and then the Buffalo Bills to cap us off. So with that being said, let's go ahead and kick this thing off with the New England Patriots. It's a new era in New England, guys.
They're interesting. So, like, the thing is I love the coaching hire. I'm not mad about Drake May, and I'm not mad about even getting Joe Milton. But it gives a lot of questions, right? They don't really have a solid wide receiver core. They don't really have that killer running back, and they don't really have a quarterback, you know? It's who's really going to be the contributors. I think Jacoby Brissett plays this season. I wouldn't be surprised if Milton got time before Drake May. They're a defensive team anyways. You know, they've always been. It's just interesting to see where they're going to go. I don't have high expectations for them. I think they're probably a top 5 pick again next year.
I do like the fact that they got Gerard Mayo and Alex Van Pelt. Mm-hmm. Drake May, to me, just screams like Mac Jones 2.0. And I'm not too high on the Drake May hype. I think Joe Milton could possibly give him a run for his money. And Jacoby Brissett will probably start the season because they're both not great.
I think it's funny. I was going to say Drake May reminded me of Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Like, he had some of the same elements, you know, like when he was in college, I would have liked to see Drake May win more. Like, you know, not just, you know, in terms of wins and losses, but like, you know, like when they were in tight games, be able to pull off those victories. You know, I mentioned it a couple times now, but like, you know, like he had a chance. He had multiple chances to save his team from an absolutely terrible loss at home to Virginia and couldn't do it. You know, and then like a week later, they lost another close game to Georgia Tech. Like he just, you know, like he didn't come out with those key plays and clutch moments, which is one concern. And the other is just, you know, in general, just being consistent with his footwork and everything. It's very interesting that like Patriots fans have kind of accepted that he's probably not going to be ready this year, and they'll just ride this thing out with Jacoby Brissett for a year, and that's about it. Like, it's very weird seeing Patriots fans in that position. Like, they're just like, okay, we're gonna finish last this year, and you know, we got our quarterback that will play eventually, but not this year, and that's pretty much it. Like, that's what they're thinking. You know, the defense is pretty good. They got studs on pretty much every level. They have Christian Barmore up front. You know, the secondary is still going to be good. That'll maybe, you know, make them dangerous for a few games. Like, you know, they might be able to beat someone they shouldn't beat here and there. But I like the pick up of Jalen Polk, by the way, from Washington. I think that was a good draft pick.
I think so too. I was thinking that exact thing, dude.
He's the most promising receiving weapon they have. But, you know, obviously it's going to take some work to continue to build the receiving core, and really, I mean, even the offensive line as well. They addressed it quite a bit, you know, in the draft. Which, by the way, they do offense as their problem because they spent like every draft pick on offense. So, I don't think other than like
last year's terrible record, I don't think we've talked about the Patriots being like bad since like Drew Bledsoe was drafted.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
like they've been good that
since
long.
90s.
Like,
every time the sun comes up, there's a lot of teams that it happens to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely are in for a long haul here because I mean they have a few like okay players, but like they don't have like that next level.
Yeah, Juju's not the man.
No. I almost forgot that Juju is still there.
And like Ramondre Stevenson is okay,
He'll get the job done, but he doesn't have any. Like they're just gonna stack the box and then run like shell cover 3, and then like make you pass the ball.
Yeah,
because they know that you're not gonna be able to do it. There's no receivers. Hunter Henry's their only good target.
Right. And I don't know why this is, but like when the Tom Brady roast happened, and like seeing Tom Brady and all those former Patriots, Bill Belichick up there, like for some reason for me that was like the moment where it really sunk in. Like, yeah, this thing's over, guys. Like that run they were on was amazing, but now, this is the aftermath of it. They have a lot of work to do.
By the way, everybody, this is Garfield. And
if you don't know, you won't know.
Yeah.
We can move on. He lives up to the name.
Yeah, he does live up to the name. He definitely hates.
Next up, the Jets. Last year came in with a lot of hype. Aaron Rodgers came running in with the flag. And then he was hurt 4 plays in, and that was it. The rest of the season was just a complete disaster pretty much from start to finish. And they end up with a disappointing 7-10. Now, they look to rebound, but obviously having Aaron Rodgers back will help with that, I would assume.
I think I mean it's not like I think. I am gonna put them at the top of the division. I still think they have the best talent. I do think Robert Saleh's on the hot seat. If he can't get it done this year, I think he's gone, especially with the talent they have. There's no excuse for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree. I agree with that. I like Robert Saleh. I think he's a great coach, but
I do too.
I think it's come down to he has to perform. It's time to put up or shut up at this point. And
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, looking at this roster, the questions last year were the offensive line wasn't that great. So they went out and they went and got some of the better offensive linemen in the league. They didn't have a ton of weapons, so what they do, they went out and got Mike Williams and Braylon Allen and Malachi Corley, a guy that was like a sleeper. I was like, I thought 3rd, 4th round, they went and got him. I love Fashanu is a great addition, and
yeah, I like him a lot.
And their defense wasn't bad, but then they went and got like Javon Kinlaw and Hassan Reddick, and it's like, okay, you guys mean business. And they still have like Sauce Gardner and what's the other corner? Reed, right?
Yeah, DJ Reed. They got Michael Carter the second in the slot. Like, even their safeties are pretty good. Tony Adams, Chuck Clark. They're not like terrible.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it.
They got Greg the Leg as their kicker. They got a potent running attack.
Yeah, because they've been Breece Hall, and now they have Braylon Allen. So that's a 1-2 punch. You got Garrett Wilson. You got Mike Williams.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot of excuses left for them to not win. Obviously, health is going to be one big concern. Aaron Rodgers staying healthy, Mike Williams staying healthy, Tyron Smith staying healthy, even Morgan Moses. I think every once in a while has had some issues. Hassan Reddick is holding out at the moment. He's not tied to the Jets because he just got traded to them. So, that might be a more dangerous holdout situation than most, but we'll have to see. And in general, I think my biggest concern about the Jets is, how are they going to respond when they're punched in the mouth? What are they going to do when things go wrong? Because when things went wrong this last year, we saw a lot of things you don't want to see. There's a lot of pointing fingers. There's a lot of blaming. Aaron Rodgers is kind of like sitting from the outside watching this go on, like, like what's going on here, guys? Like you're all going at each other, behind the scenes and stuff. Like, no one said anything straight up, but leaking it to reporters and everything. And obviously that goes back on Saleh too to keep control of the locker room. But that's actually my biggest concern is, because no NFL season's ever going to be perfect. You're going to face adversity, but how is this team going to respond to it?
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest question mark on that team is can Aaron Rodgers last the whole season?
Yeah, I agree. I do like them getting Tyrod Taylor because, like, I do think Tyrod Taylor is a solid backup and could be a good good starter for a crappy team. And this team is loaded and built to win the division. They just cursed or whatever you want to call it. But this is their year to lose it.
Yeah. I mean, and this is their all-in year, by the way, guys. Like, if they don't get it done this year, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I can totally see if they're doing really poorly, like trading pieces away because they just can't afford to keep all these people.
Yeah, things go bad enough. Like, they definitely would
start
trading guys away.
Draft picks and stuff like that.
I do think the Jets and the Mets should join the Nets in Brooklyn and have the Brooklyn Nets, Jets, and Mets.
And have it sponsored by NetJets.
Yeah.
Oh, my. All right. Next on our list here, the Miami Dolphins. Guys, like the Dolphins looked like the best team in the NFL for quite a while, and they hit the same thing they hit the year before. The Dolphins just cannot finish, guys. Like, why can the Dolphins just not get this thing across the finish line? I think that's the biggest question facing them.
Yeah,
the sun, my man. You get too hot too early, you burn yourself out.
My favorite edition of theirs is chop. Like OBJ, man, he's not a bad 3. You have to admit he's not a bad 3. I'm not convinced that Tua is going to be able to spread the ball around. Like, I think this is a prove it year for Tua, and if he can't get it done, then see ya. I do like what they did to try to fill some holes, but losing Christian Wilkins was by far the biggest loss, and Robert Hunt is a huge loss too. This team already had like issues on the offensive line, and I don't think it got any better.
Xavier Howard and Jerome Baker, man, that's rough.
Yeah.
Where's Jerome Baker?
Okay, so by the way, this was intentional. Shaq Barrett is on the additions and the losses because they signed him and then he retired.
Well,
he retired just, I think, like a few days ago. I think he retired over the weekend.
Did you
recorded this?
I don't think Tyre Tart was there last year. He's not a bad plug it up guy.
He was in Tennessee. Justin, your slides just slacking, my man. No, I mean I like the Dolphins. I think they're a great team. The problem is, like I said, they fly too close to the sun. They got really, really hot. They were blowing up the NFL. They were the team for forever. And I think people getting hurt and, people that are able to play are getting so worn out that they're not playing at their best, capabilities. I think you're looking at a team that could really push for the division. But again, I think like we said, the Jets have to perform. And Aaron Rodgers, if he's playing, he's going to be slinging that ball over the field for the Jets. And I really think that that's the only thing. I think they'll both make the playoffs, but I think the Jets will beat them out.
So I know we have another team to go, but like it's pretty evident at this point that the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills are in must-win now mode.
Yeah, well, I think the Bills are kind of past that at this point.
But I mean, like, I still think Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott are in the mindset of let's not tear this thing down and let's still try to win.
Yeah,
but,
we can get back to that in the moment.
My point to that was like the Jets are in win now mode because they're gonna have to pay a lot of people and they're gonna start losing some of their veterans. The Dolphins are in win now mode because if they get a new quarterback, they have to start over. And obviously, we'll get into the Bills in a minute, but
yeah, either they have to get a new quarterback or they have to pay Tua. One of the two. And that's gonna.
Have you guys been seeing that Tua hasn't been performing well at camp? I guess
doesn't surprise me.
It's early.
Yeah, but it's just camp.
I think what we can bring it down to is, is it because the Dolphins have problems with injuries? Is it because the Dolphins have problems playing in the cold? Is it because the Dolphins can't beat the best teams and their schedule keeps getting backloaded?
Is it because the Dolphins have a strip club in their stadium right on the field that costs $70,000 for season tickets?
Probably that. That's it right there. I think that's the answer.
I wish I had that kind of money.
Oh my!
But yeah, I mean, like, I like the Dolphins. I like Mike McDaniel. I want to see them do well outside of if they have to play the Bengals. But
think about it. They still got Tyreek Hill. They still got Jalen Waddle. You had OBJ, Jalen Wright, in addition to Mostert and A-Chain. How do you say his name? A-Chain. I think that's really potent. I mean,
basically, they added Wright in because they had two fast running backs, but obviously the problem with fast running backs is they're also injury prone. So they added Wright in to have a third fast running back.
And like, here's the other thing: you look at defense. Like I said, I think losing Jerome Baker is hard, but they got Jordan Brooks and they got Anthony Walker, two of the best free agent linebackers, right?
Those guys are studs. And then Brooks may not be as Baker, but he can fly around the field. Not like I was gonna like I had him as a huge loss for the Seahawks. But like I love that the Dolphins got him because they did fill a big hole there.
And then like Xavier Howard, losing him's big, right? But so they got Kendall Fuller, which may not be as good, but he's younger, right?
Yeah.
And so that's
I feel like what they did was find someone cheaper who kind of is a little bit of a downgrade to what they had, pretty much.
Will be there a little bit longer. And then the biggest hole, right, is Christian Wilkins, right? And I think Calais Campbell, he's a little bit older past his prime, but he's a solid fill-in for this year until they can draft somebody or get that man to replace him.
Well, they do have Deshaun Hand, who, like, I guess you got to hand it to him. He's pretty good at stopping the run. So, like, they have a rotation going, and they know the skill set of the players they need. So they went out and got cheap versions to fill up what one guy did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like Daniels too. But to be honest, if they do this again this year, I wouldn't be surprised if he's like on the hot seat for that. Like if they go off real strong and then can't get to the playoffs and all that stuff, I think management might be like, listen, if you can't get us there, then we're gonna find somebody who can.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty good coach, but I think it's more of the Dolphins like training staff, personnel, like GM, like the players they get. Like they didn't have very many draft picks past few years
because they've been traded.
Got Tua, but like
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, that too. But like, I mean, they have had to go out and spend. And Miami may be a big city, but like the Dolphins haven't been like a team that just has money lying around to spend either.
Right.
But Justin, we can move on to your shitty ass Bills team.
Boo.
Shut up, man. All right, the Buffalo Bills. They last year was probably a bit of a disappointment year, to be honest. they spent, they started out pretty good and then got on their mid-season slide, and it was a little worse than usual. They really slid mid-season. Fired their offensive coordinator, and that fixed everything. They played better to finish, and then stumbled their way into the division because the Dolphins blew it. Now, this is kind of what you would call a soft reset, guys.
All right. So, Justin, I'm just going to say this in advance. I'm sorry for anything that I might say. It's going.
I'm not.
I'm okay. Maybe I'm not, but I'm just trying to be okay. So the only thing that they have left is Josh Allen. Let's be real here. I mean, they lost Diggs, they lost Davis, they lost Mitch Morse, they lost Shaq Lawson, Linval Joseph. Like, look at this list: Poona Ford, Leonard Floyd, Tre'Davious White, Dane Jackson. I mean, they lost their team, and that's because they had piss poor planning. They invested money in the wrong places, right? I mean, you got to keep Josh Allen, but come on, you can't lose Diggs. Diggs is the whole reason your team was so good.
Justin, I do think that because I called it. I said Dane Jackson is leaving, and Tre'Davious White is leaving, and I can't remember.
How much were they in deficit? They were like deficit $56 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably second to like the Saints because the Saints are always first in deficit every year.
And the Ravens too. The Ravens were as well. But I'm sitting here thinking, like, how are they going to recover? And it's like, yeah, I like Ray Davis, but that might be the best part of their team this year is James Cook and Ray Davis. That's kind of messed up. You got Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, and Matt Collins. That's going to be the starting three. I'm not so
yeah. I mean, they'll probably have Khalil Shakir as their starter.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like. That's like a all third wide receivers,
They're like the Commanders from a couple years ago, but like with a better quarterback.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be their saving grace is Josh Allen. That's who's going to keep them in this. But like, do you think he's still happy there at this point?
Yeah,
they keep shipping everybody else off.
You lost.
I think there's a specific plan here.
The more I look at this, the more the Bills could probably finish third in the division.
That's what I'm thinking.
So let me answer your questions here. The main thing the Bills did was they shed off anyone who was 30 and over. The only person that's over 30 left on the roster is Von Miller.
They're everybody producing though, man. That's your production of the team. That's if you like.
But there's a lot of young guys who had to step in and play last year because all these old guys kept getting hurt.
What did they do?
Oh, some of them struggled a little bit, but figuring it out still. But obviously, this is far from a finished product. That's why it's a bit of a reset year. This 2024 is kind of a lost year a little bit, but obviously, getting in a better cap spot to build for 2025 and beyond is the main point here. They are going to be a run-first team now. They have a decent offensive line.
Tell me they just cut everyone. And Lelo Collins is still there.
Yeah, he's on the additions. But yeah, they're going to be a run-first team. They're going to pound it with James Cook and Ray Davis. Probably.
That also
forget about
Josh Allen's that's what he's good at is passing. So you're gonna run options with Josh Allen.
Josh Allen almost had 1,000 yards his rookie year.
Yeah, I'm not saying he can't rush, but do you want him taking those hits?
But probably going to run a little bit here and there. 2 tight end sets are going to be the big thing to look out for with Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox there. So probably only going to be playing 2 receivers at once, guys. Defense is definitely a work in progress, but it has been obviously. It was not good the end of the year, so it made sense that they kind of just shed everyone and tried to figure things out again. It's going to be a bit of a down year, but the main thing is getting in a better cap spot and trying to open a new window, starting in 2025.
I don't think it's going to be opening a window in 2025. I think they just got the younger players because they were cheaper. and I think they had to go that route because of the salaries that they had dished out. Like these guys are talented to a certain extent because they all made it to the NFL. But bro, like I think you're just too hopeful for the future, and I think that window has shut. It's closed. It's locked.
It reminds me of and it's a different sport, it's a different thing, but like the Reds, right? It's like they kept holding on to like Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips for so long because they're like, we're gonna keep making runs at this, and at a certain point, you got to cut your losses and start selling like everything. And they sold or just cut most of what they had, and it's like for me, they traded Diggs, which was cool, but the rest of them could have been traded instead of just cut. Like Tre'Davious White was cut, Dane Jackson was cut, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, right? They were let him walk. See.
Yeah, they had expiring contracts. White had to be cut because he was tied to a huge salary cap and hasn't made it through a full season in a while.
You think
torn ACLs recently, he may not be the same player anymore.
Do you think someone would have picked up his salary?
No. No one's going to take a risk on a guy who's torn 2 ACLs in 3 years.
I mean, like Linville Joseph?
He was 34. No one's going to trade for a 34-year-old.
I don't know, man.
Jets did,
yeah. That is true.
But like Curtis Samuel is your best receiver, and he's at best a number 2.
Yeah.
Like he showed flashes down in Washington, but like
that's definitely going to affect Josh Allen. Like he doesn't have that number 1 guy. Like Andy Dalton had AJ Green. And that's pretty much the reason why Andy Dalton was so successful at one point, right? Josh Allen doesn't have that.
No, I know they want Keon Coleman to be that guy, but like
he's not that yet. He's not there yet.
It's going to take until week 11 for any rookie to start not being a rookie anymore. And so by week 11, you'll know what you have. The rest of you'll know what you have with Keon Coleman pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen's passing game jumped up because of Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. Until pretty much Stephon Diggs was a big part of the passing game until the ending stretch of last year. I don't know what it was, but Allen and Diggs were not on the same page anymore. Like it felt like every time he tried to get the ball to Diggs, something bad happened, and the offense became everyone else. James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, those are the main guys he was thrown to at the end of the year.
It became pretty one-dimensional, and they were trying to force the ball to Diggs. Whereas, the reality of the situation is when Diggs came to the Bills from Minnesota, that's what took you guys to the next level and put you up there with the Chiefs for forever long, till the Bengals came along and started, competing as well, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. Okay, so losing Diggs, you have to replace that. Am I wrong? It's a huge hole.
No. And, either the hope is that we replace him with Keon Coleman, or maybe we suck enough to draft one next year. We'll see.
Maybe this is how you get a new head coach too.
Potentially. Maybe you get Bill Belichick in there. Oh, probably not.
Probably not. No.
Sorry, man. I just don't see the Bills competing this year that well, and I don't see the Bills doing that great.
This whole part of the episode has been you guys telling me why I shouldn't watch the NFL this year.
You've been saying that all off season. It was until we started doing the off season or the previews for the upcoming season that you were like, "Oh, maybe I should pay attention to the NFL."
Gotta figure out who to draft for fantasy football. But anyways, let's go to our division predictions.
Jets, Jets. I got the Jets going first, Dolphins second, Bills third, Patriots fourth. I think the Jets have to produce, and I think as long as Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, there's no reason why they won't. Dolphins are going to be right there neck and neck. I think the Bills are a good team, but like I said, I think the holes are still glaring, in my opinion, and I think they didn't do a good enough job filling them. So I wouldn't be surprised if you got a new head coach GM, like I just said. And I think the Patriots have to be consistent with their moves this offseason. They have to stick with Gerard Mayo. They have to give him time to develop this team because he has to build a whole new team, basically. Give him some time. Give him 4 or 5 years. And if he can't do it in that, get him to the playoffs by then that's when you think moving on. But yeah, Jetson first.
Yeah, I agree. I said a lot of what I wanted to say on this slide, the last 2 teams, but like Jets is their division to lose this year. Dolphins, I don't see them having quite enough to catch the Jets. Bills, I don't see them really having enough steam to keep going and doing what they were doing the past 5 years. And the Patriots, full rebuild mode.
Remember last offseason when it felt like this division was pretty loaded? Now, this division's just kind of subpar.
Yeah.
There's just a definitive line, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of subpar, yet somehow still could put 2 teams in the playoffs. I have the Dolphins coming in first just because I think the downgrades for the Bills mean that the Dolphins, even though they'll fade late in the year again, they may not be able to choke the division away. They might just be able to hold on to it this time. The Bills, we'll see what happens. Probably wild card in the first round playoff loss at best.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets, at this point, it's up to the Jets to make me believe because, we've been hyping them up, it felt like the last couple of years, and every single time they've fallen short. I just don't know how that team can respond when things go wrong. I'm very pessimistic about them. And the Patriots, just, it's a new start for them. Working towards the future.
You just hate the Jets because you guys couldn't beat Chad Pennington back in the day and had to sit at 8-8.
But Keyshawn Johnson was dancing all over your ass.
But hey, tell me where I'm wrong about how the Jets what's happened with the Jets the last few years, though.
I think as long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy, there's nothing you can do about it, Justin. I think all around teams, the Dolphins and the Jets are leagues ahead right now. The Bills fell off. And this is going to be their come to God moment this year.
Yeah, potentially.
Do you think they trade Josh Allen?
I mean, I think Josh Allen at some point, if I were Josh Allen, I'd be looking at my roster being like, they're not putting me in a position that I can win a championship. And all the money in the world's cool, but winning championships is what gets you in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yep.
So I think some people are more about glory than they are about the money. And I think his money's killing the team.
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
I think any team in the league. I think the Browns would trade their first round pick for the next 10 years. Right now.
And Deshaun Watson for
they already traded they traded like 3.
They gave Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, and their next 10 first round picks just for Josh Allen. Justin's like, well, I'm interested in that.
Nah, no thanks.
Because that, in my opinion, I said this years ago in that draft, they took Baker Mayfield, and I was outspokenly, I don't know if you guys remember me saying this, they should be taking Josh Allen. I think I said it back then, and people were like, no, he only played in Wyoming. Like, no, Josh Allen's going to be the best top 2 quarterbacks out of this draft. And the only other quarterback in this draft I personally say competes with him is Lamar Jackson.
I mean, it's really those 2, and then
Baker is down below.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold isn't anything.
He could be. Well, we'll get to that next week.
Yeah. So, what food do you guys want to talk about today?
Well, if we want to keep the Bills scene, we need to talk about buffalo wings.
Are we doing boneless or bone in?
I feel like bone in is the only move when you're talking about actual buffalo wings.
Well, so here's the thing. Like, I love buffalo wings. There's nothing more that I hate than getting the sauce all over my fucking fingers. And it gets in between your fingernails, stuff.
Yeah, you gotta wash it out for like 2 days. It feels like.
Yeah. Well,
It also depends on what I'm doing. If I plan on sitting down and eating wings and not like playing video games or doing anything else, then I'll probably get bone in for pickup and then go get it and bring it back. But if I'm eating it out or if I'm doing something, then I'm going to get boneless. That way I can just stab it with a fork and
He's like, pop them on the go.
Get into my gullet as fast as possible.
I think so. Like, personally, like I said, I just don't like getting messy. I would much rather just like stick a fork in them and eat them. I really like Hooters boneless wings, not plugging.
Hooters has quality chicken meat,
and like honest
comparatively to others.
The other reason you would go to Hooters, quality has gone down over the years. So like, I don't know. I just go for the wings.
Guys, Hooters can't even stay on the Hooters got kicked off of Chase Elliott's car because they couldn't make the payments.
Yeah,
like we actually need to help this company stay in business.
Hooters, sponsor us and we'll sponsor you.
Remember when we went to Hooters?
No, they have no money.
Remember when we went to Hooters like every Wednesday night because they had like boneless wing deals?
Yeah. Didn't we do a fancy draft there?
Yeah,
I think we did.
Yeah, that was a good time. I would say it's only in Cincinnati. It's called Knockback Nats. I love their smoked wings. They're so delicious. But if we're sticking to just chains, I'm a B-dubs guy because it's the most convenient and I love their sauces. But I mean, like that atomic sauce at Hooters can't be beat.
Also, their the Daytona Beach wings at Hooters.
Yes.
So good.
Yes.
I think like medium at Hooters is like perfect. It's like that's like the starter of a good like spicy sauce. That's solid buffalo right there.
What do you guys think about wings and rings?
That's pretty good. I think it's sauce I love.
Yeah, I haven't found one that I want to get like every single time, you know?
Mm-hmm. I like the chicken though. Like it's clear they use really good chicken.
I like the chicken.
The chickens,
I like their chicken. It's creamy. It's really
a few places I've made wings at in my day. I thought smoked wings are great. If you get the right wood blend and all that stuff, it could be really, really good. I worked at this one place that we took duck fat and confit them, and those wings came out so like crispy but juicy at the same time after they were fried. Oh my god, I would eat those every day. And those are the kinds of wings that you don't even need sauce for, you know.
Chad, last week we talked about like best chicken spots again because it just like it keeps coming up. And I forgot to mention in that episode, if you can find a good like chicken wing or chicken leg and just like get that great crunch when you eat into it, that's the life right there.
That's it.
So
now we talked about mostly chicken tenders last week. So we're on chicken wings this week. There is a difference.
All right, so what did you guys say as far as chicken tenders? I missed out on this.
We didn't really say chicken tenders. We just gave chicken places.
I went hitching post in there.
Huh?
Have you ever been to Hitching Post on Kellogg?
No, I haven't been to Hitching Post. I heard they do have good chicken.
Oh, they do. It's like Greasy Spoon, but it's like I don't know. Everything's got meat in it, so Marissa hates it, but it's really good. Their chicken's really good, and they'll sell them like quarters, halves. You know,
we stuck with chains again. So like, Kyle's from Texas, so he knows about churches. Justin had churches when he was in Louisiana, And so like we got on a tangent on biscuits, and then just kind of one thing led to another.
Unpopular opinion: I hate KFC.
I would agree. I would say Kroger's chicken is better than KFC's.
Yeah. I think KFC has kind of fallen in everyone's eyes pretty much. Not a lot of people like the Colonel these days.
It's not that great, first of all. It's not high quality. It's not.
I worked in the car business, and there was a store right down the street, or right across the street from the lot, and we would go over to that store, and I don't remember the name of the store now because it's closed and there's no more left. But it was right off AA over near, like, off of 27, and it was the best chicken that I've had in a very long time. I got so fat eating that.
So KFC, I gotta tell you this about KFC. So multiple occasions I've gone there, and they've told me they don't have any chicken.
What do they serve then?
Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay. And multiple occasions I've gone there, and it may just be because I live in what used to be a rough neighborhood. They've told me that they weren't taking credit cards, and then when I would say, okay, well, I have cash, and they go, we're not taking cash either. I'm not making it up. It's happened multiple times. It's okay. I'll just go somewhere else.
Maybe they just took Bitcoin.
Yeah, get real. And I don't know. And like I said, the chicken's just greasy. It's not crunchy. Tastes frozen. It probably is at this point. Their sides aren't that great. The mac and cheese, what I remember used to be good, is bland and flavorless. If I go to get fried chicken, it's like I go to Lee's, I go to Popeyes.
Popeyes chicken.
I like Popeyes a lot. And I think their chicken sandwich is really, really good.
Yeah, that chicken sandwich. Remember when that chicken sandwich like took over the world?
Mm-hmm. I remember it was like right around COVID or something like that, right?
It was like right before, and everyone went crazy for it.
I remember I was living in California, and like I had to go down to Reno to go to the airport. I think it was to drop Marissa off or something. And there was a Popeyes. I was like, I'm getting me some sandwiches. I got like 6 of them. Ate them on my way back up to Tahoe.
I mean, I'm always a big fan of Church's, but like they don't have a chicken sandwich that compares. So like the chicken sandwich war was really only between Popeyes and Chick-fil-A.
Pretty much.
When you came to Tahoe, did I take you to that cold water place, that brewery?
No, we didn't. We went out hiking, so we didn't get to go to the brewery.
Okay, so Cold Water is this brewery in town in Middle Lake Tahoe. It's in like the Swiss Chalet. It's like a little shopping center. They had this chicken sandwich. I have dreams about it still. It was like a thick, like breast piece of chicken, crunchy. It had like candied bacon on it, lettuce, tomato. They had like a spicy sauce with it. It was just the homemade pickles. Oh my god, it was so good, so good, dude. I remember.
He's thinking about holding it right now.
I want to eat it. Marissa's friend, Bo, he worked with her at a restaurant. We would go get dinner and stuff, and he would come with us. And I think he got the sandwich like 2 or 3 times, and every time he got it, it wasn't like it was undercooked or anything. He would just get home and he'd throw it up. He's like, "Oh God, I'm throwing up," and he was like, "I don't know why I throw it up. It was so good."
Well, so was he like, "Oh, it's so good, coming back up too"?
Yeah, it was just like loud. It was just like all of a sudden he's like, boom. And he's not sick at all. It was just like he threw it up, and it's like, Bo was a wild guy.
So yeah, did we? I don't think
go to Hitchin Post if you're in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Down on
we have an Updog appearance there and see if we can. I think the owners used to come in every now and then.
Let's just go get some fried chicken for Updog. We'll record it.
I'd be fine with that. Just start chowing down on chicken every week.
It's all on the sides. We go get like some green beans with bacon in it. Just sit there, eat the green beans.
Yeah.
I think this is leading into us
good.
selling feet pictures.
Probably. Slippery slope.
Yeah. I mean, you can make a lot of money selling feet pictures.
I'm not above it. Hairy toes.
On that horrible bombshell, I think it should be time to end.
Yeah, that's probably it. That's time to end the episode.
Follow us at Updog Sports Talk on every social media. Give us a like, a subscribe. Tell us how we're doing. Give us your thoughts on the episode. Favorite chicken places, wings, other.
Yeah. Give us a food because it's hard to come up with this on the spot. Give us some ideas,
usually,
guys.
What we think ahead on, like, typically we think ahead when it comes to the football aspect. We don't really think ahead usually when it comes to the food. So when we get to the end, it just became a thing one time. So like, if you have any suggestions on food that you want to talk about, then let us know that too. So yeah. Anything else,
also,
guys?
I do promise that we will not just openly throw feet pics around.
I can't promise anything, Justin.
Justin, do you also promise to get the slides right next time?
Yeah. Come on, Justin. One job.
We're striving for an A-. Okay, we're currently
boys
at a C+.
Here.
B+ might be best you'll get.
This is probably the least organized we've been for these previews since we started doing it.
Yeah.
It's been pretty busy for me. I don't know if the Updog world has known, but I've been working like crazy. And
I will say that my summer last summer was probably busier than my summer this summer, but I'm traveling more this summer.
I'm just working.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Goodbye.